In Texas, you can legally carry a gun into a church, but you can't legally own more than 6 adult toys. Sounds fake, right? Well, it's 100% real law, and that's just the beginning. Today we're diving deep into one of America's strangest and most controversial laws, the Texas adult toy ban. From court battles to identification bills in 2025, this story has it all: politics, morality, and a lot of plastic. Howdy, partners. Welcome to my channel, where we uncover ridiculous, tragic, and even sometimes happy stories that you won't find anywhere else. Join me while I take you through strange news events, bizarre crimes, strange laws, and unbelievable stories. If you love weird stuff, then click that subscribe button because we have brand new episodes every single day. Now let's get started. The year was 1973. The law was called the Texas Obscene Device Statute. And to put it bluntly, it criminalized the sale or possession of more than 6 obscene devices, meaning sex toys. Yep, you heard that right. 6. Imagine being busted not for selling actual pornography, but for having a few extra massagers. The wording was pretty vague. An obscene device was defined as anything designed, used, or marketed for the purpose of sexual stimulation or gratification. Everything from vibrators and dildos to realistic dolls and lingerie. That sounds like something you might pick up at Victoria's Secret, doesn't it? But if you had more than 6 of them, well, you might be heading to court. The law made owning more than 6 adult toys illegal. And I don't mean your girlfriend's collection of collectible Barbies. Talking about things that are commonly found in the bedroom, things that most adults use for their intimate moments. You could actually be fined or arrested for having too many, let's say, personal items in your drawer. Imagine the cops showing up at your door because someone reported you for having more than 6 massage, relax, and pleasure devices. Sounds absurd, right? Like something from a bad joke or a ridiculous cartoon, but it's real. It was passed by the Texas legislature in 1973 and remained on the books for decades, creating a lot of confusion and a few raised eyebrows. The weird part? The law didn't ban porn, just the toys. While Texas legislators clearly had some hang-ups about certain personal accessories, they left other forms of adult entertainment untouched. Movie theaters could still show X-rated films, adult shops could still sell their wares, magazines could still feature centerfolds. But having more than 6 dildos or vibrators in your home could get you in trouble.
Ow.
Now you might be asking yourself why. Why would anyone want to ban people from having more than 6 personal devices? No. And the answer, believe it or not, is actually quite simple. The lawmakers who pushed for this bill saw these objects as immoral and wanted to protect the public, especially children, from what they considered sinful behavior. They believed that limiting the sale and possession of adult toys would reduce sexual activity and promiscuity in general, which they viewed as detrimental to the moral fabric of society. Now, you might find this argument a bit outdated. But back then, it was common for certain groups to try and influence legislation based on their religious beliefs and values. The logic was that if certain products were removed from circulation, it would discourage people from engaging in activities deemed inappropriate. Now, whether or not this logic held any water is a whole different story. So how did this bizarre law actually affect everyday Texans? Did anyone dare break the law by accumulating 7 sex toys instead of 6? Well, the answer is yes, and the results were both surprising and shocking. During its early years, the law didn't really make headlines. It seemed like an obscure law that mostly flew under the radar until 2008. That year, a woman named Joanne Webb found herself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. She was arrested in her hometown after a police officer allegedly discovered a vibrator in her purse during a routine traffic stop. How exactly the officer spotted the vibrator amidst all the other items in Webb's purse remains a mystery. Maybe he had X-ray vision, or maybe he was just very observant. Regardless, the officer confiscated the item, and soon enough Webb was charged with breaking the obscenity law. By owning the vibrator, she had broken the law. Imagine being pulled over for a minor traffic violation and then having your belongings searched for potentially obscene items. Seems crazy, right? And it is. But this event wasn't just a bizarre incident. It revealed a much bigger problem. The law was still technically in effect. For all anyone knew, they could get in trouble for owning more than 6 adult toys. The news of Webb's arrest spread like wildfire. People started taking notice of this peculiar law, and the implications became clear. If the authorities had the power to confiscate personal items during a traffic stop, what else could they target? Joanne Webb was determined to fight the charges against her. And as she took on the system, the entire nation started paying attention. Late-night talk show hosts started making jokes at the expense of Texas lawmakers, and suddenly everyone was talking about the Lone Star State's strange stance on adult toys. Finally, in 2008, a federal court struck down the law as unconstitutional. It was a victory for individual liberties and a blow against what many saw as an infringement upon their privacy. Despite the court ruling, the law is still technically on the books. It hasn't been repealed. So in theory, you could still get in trouble for having too many adult toys in Texas? Now, you might be wondering why haven't they just gotten rid of it? Well, here's the thing. Some lawmakers are perfectly fine with the status quo. They're happy to have this law in the books just in case they ever need to dust it off again. Others might see the recent court ruling as a sign that times have changed and perhaps it has time to reconsider this outdated piece of legislation. But it doesn't end there. Oh no. In 2025, the Texas legislature decided to once again revisit the topic of adult toys. Two new bills, SB 3003 and HB 1549, were introduced. Both aimed at restricting the purchase and sale of adult toys in the state. SB 3003 requires photo ID for buying adult toys online. Yes, you heard that right. You'll need to verify your identity to buy a toy. Can you imagine showing your driver's license to buy a vibrator? And HB 1549 wants to ban stores like Walmart, Target, and CVS from selling any adult wellness items. Supporters of these bills claim they're trying to protect children from inappropriate materials. But critics argue that these measures are nothing more than an attempt to control people's private lives. Imagine going to your local drugstore to pick up some adult toys and finding out they've been banned, or trying to buy a massage oil online, only to be asked for your driver's license number. These scenarios sound like something out of a dystopian novel, don't they? Well, they might soon become a reality in Texas. The impact of these bills would be far-reaching. Not only would they affect individuals looking to purchase these products, but also the businesses that sell them. For online retailers, implementing age verification checks could lead to increased costs and logistical challenges. And for brick-and-mortar stores, a ban on selling adult wellness items could mean losing out on a significant portion of their revenue. In a time when many states are moving towards greater acceptance and inclusion, these bills represent a step backward for Texas. They send a message that the state is willing to infringe upon people's privacy and control their choices, all in the name of protecting traditional values. So what does it all mean for the future of adult toy laws in Texas? Will the state continue to cling to outdated restrictions, or will it move towards a more progressive stance? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the debate is far from over. So what do you think? Would you show ID to buy a toy? Should the government decide what's too personal? Let us know your thoughts below. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Texas's unusual obsession with adult toys. We've explored the history of the law, the impact it's had on everyday Texans, and the surprising ways it continues to make headlines. And if you're still with me, I'd like to say thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed the ride through Texas's bizarre legal landscape as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you. And remember, stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the weird and wonderful world around us. Until next time, stay informed, stay entertained, and above all, stay free.